Hello everybody, this is my review of my brand new 2020 Wildwood FSX travel trailer that we just purchased from a dealer in Ohio. This is my second Forest River product, and this isn't really your standard review as much as it is things to look out for with pretty much every Forest River product. I don't know why I fell for this a second time, but if I'd have seen more videos like this, I probably would have bought elsewhere. So, my background is a helicopter crew chief, or was one in the Air Force, so I'm pretty good with mechanics. So a lot of these things don't really worry me because they're things I want to fix, but hey, for a price tag of, plus of $30,000, I would expect maybe the engineers not to be drinking beer on their when they're at work. So let me show you a few things that I found interesting. Well, here we are inside. Keep in mind I haven't even really moved into this yet, so as you can see, I've been migrating the stuff out of the garage back into the camper. A few things that I were aware of with my other one were, just stupid things like, the way they screwed into the cardboard ceilings. A lot of times the plugs were just falling out after like a month. But other engineering things and lots of quality work stuff. I mean, you're going to find trim that doesn't fit, and a lot of cosmetic things that might look okay on first glance, but after you start using it, you're probably going to have to revisit it. We're talking within the first 3 months. This is a prime example of what I'm talking about. Okay, this is supposedly one of the main sleeping areas in here. This is a fold-out day bed. Now, as you can see, the mattress is fairly thick, just probably a big piece of foam in there. But how you're supposed to use this is you fold it up, take a step back, okay? Then obviously this wooden panel comes up. Now, I've fiddled with this numerous times trying to get this not to do this, but as you can see, this is all the further it goes without flexing and compressing the mattress that doesn't even have sheets on it or comforter yet, right? So it gets about there, and then what you got to do is you have to force this, and I'm probably putting a good 20 pounds of pressure, and it just clicks into that, which, keep in mind, is just 2 screws into this extremely thin particle board there, with on this side there being absolutely no support whatsoever from holding this 20 pounds back. It's kind of being sprung out, if you will. So that means every time you're going to fold this up and to turn this into the luxurious couch what they show you in the pictures, you're probably gonna have to take your sheets off, find a place to put your pillows, and then still, yeah, that clamp ain't gonna last. I can tell by looking at it. So I've been stewing in my brain how to figure out what my plan B is gonna be for that. Oh, on to the next thing. Well, keep in mind, I haven't even camped in this yet, other than being in the house here, so fiddling around the house. But these are things that I'm just telling you right off the bat that I know it's going to be an issue. Okay, they have skylights in here instead of, well, in the bathroom they do have one vent, your standard corkscrew vent. But they have what they're calling a skylight over the shower. Nice idea. However, this, holy crap. I mean, the first twig, and when I say twig, the first twig that even comes in contact with this, especially after this starts getting brittle, is just going to crack that. Yeah, I don't even know what plan B is going to be there because the size of that. So would have been much better off just using a maybe a piece of plexiglass or something thicker than, trash bag thinness. It's funny. As you see, I've already gone in and replaced, some of the, faucets and stuff that come with it are basically disposable, so you're going to replace those right out of the box. And the same thing with the back. So instead of there being a vent back here to move air out, you basically have another one of these skylights This is quite a nice layout, I must say. I will say another stupid thing. I'm sure they're obligated to, but you see the big sticker? Yeah. Well, those stickers, when you buy the unit, and you'll see this if you look at them new, they're all up and down this wall. And we're talking 19 inches square. I mean, that's how big these stickers are. And you might think, oh, well, it's a warning sticker. Yeah, I understand that. But they're stuck with adhesive to this paper, this drywall, if you will. This is basically just like the sticker stuff that you would put on your kitchen counter or your kitchen cabinets, It's not even that thick. So it took me forever and a heat gun even to get these off without peeling up the pseudo wallpaper. The whole time I'm thinking, wow, this was stupid. I mean, I understand there's a legal obligation probably for some of this, but there could have been other solutions as opposed to and possibly ruining the product before the person ever buys it. And I'm sure you don't think of it until you get it. They could have used a different glue. They could have used cards that would have actually been better because you could have just sat down and read them. Anyway, so let's see here. What's next? And again, this isn't something that I really even sweat about. Well, I do sweat about it, but it's not, I mean, I knew this when I bought it. So a lot of the cabinets that you're going to see are fake. And the reason I say fake is because, it might look at first glance, oh, I got a cabinet here, there's probably some space there, and then I got that one up there. I have all this room. No. What you have, obviously, is what would be the back of what I'm guessing is the fuse box on the other wall. So this is covered up down here. I even moved the panel to see if there was extra space for storage. This one here, you have the drainage sticking down, and it's much more packed over here. Don't even think about putting something over there. So you have about a total of half a foot, maybe. So, I would like to know where they think you're going to put towels, because this is no deeper than a medicine cabinet. So that's your storage in here. And on the topic of storage, you come back into the main living area. You would think, oh, I have storage here, I have storage there, under the bed. No. All that storage, which I'm sure you would see before you buy it, is the front storage that you access from outside. Okay, so what this means is, where you would think that you would have room for clothes, other than that one up top and that closet, both of these and underneath is where everything goes that you need to camp. Your jacks, your barbecue, your tools, and even the best thing yet, you either have to build or find a way to put your sewage pipe in there. Ain't that nice? Thanks, guys. Appreciate that one. Oh, and then to think the same thing, I'd love to look at the kitchen. It's just me and the wife. We don't have much, between the two of us. But I'm thinking, we'll make it work. But underneath here, it's very much the same thing. I removed the bottom panel. This was all covered. I'm going to try to scavenge some space down there probably for a few things. And up top, you have your pipes. So, you have room for one pot and some cleaners. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. But, of course, their brochure, you look at that and you're like, oh, man, look, I got two cabinets. And yeah, no. So basically, out of all this kitchen, you have one drawer and a quarter of those, excuse me. So I'm going to have to layer this. I'm going to put a layer of cardboard down and then store on top of it to make double use of the drawer. And probably use the stove as well. Up top here, I will say you do have full use of this. So you do have a cupboard. So a cupboard and a quarter. But that's pretty much it. Underneath there's all utilities to go outside, the fridge. The funny thing is you can't use the microwave and the fireplace at the same time. So because it'll blow their fuses. So they just put a switch in, so you have to choose between heat and eating. Yeah, but it is a camper, you know. Stuff like that doesn't really irritate me. I just kind of laugh because I know of 1,000,001 solutions. So you might think, oh, well, this ain't too bad, man. This guy's really picking on this for no reason. Oh, yeah, but think about this. Where are you going to put your food? Okay, because maybe some up here, there's no pantry. You know, you have, that's not a pantry, right? There's nothing there. I mean, your food goes there. Dishes and food in there, maybe? That's possible. So my plan B was the only other storage inside, which is underneath the seats. Now, on some of the other brands, they had put built-in pull-outs, which I'm going to have to build. So, yeah, we do have the pull-outs underneath the seats. I'm going to have to handcraft, and it's not going to be easy because there is a lip here to make a nice pull-out. And I'm going to make a long pantry that's just going to slide off from underneath the seats. But then again, there goes some of the storage I was hoping to have inside for, you know, towels and necessities of that nature. I have a feeling I'm going to be keeping a lot of things in the truck. And I don't know, maybe if I bought something for the roof. But, you know, when you spend this much money right out of the box, you know, you would expect, you know, the quality is just not there. You know, some of it isn't showing up on the video, but, you know, as you look through your own particular unit, when you go look at these, and like I said, this is my second Forest River. The first one was actually worse than this because I knew what I was looking at, but a lot of stuff just broke, knobs pulled off, stupid things that really didn't have to be that way. You know, because the cost of, you know, putting a piece of tin in instead of putting a piece of, you know, very, very breakable plastic would be negligible, you know, and I'm sure would add to the longevity and the happiness. Because if a lot of people can't fix these things, yeah, they're not going to be, it's going to make for a bad experience. So if you're handy, this is great. Hey, but you know what? Let's check underneath, because that's the funniest thing yet. All right, so here we go. This one is a toy hauler. There's no steps in the back, so kind of puts a kibosh on me putting some roof storage in. Why they do this, I don't know. I mean, it's nice to have outdoor speakers, but those ain't going to last exposed to the weather like that, even though they are poly cones. So I'm going to zoom in and get underneath here and show you some things underneath. Let me see. So you have some, I'm going to keep the camera rolling so you have some idea of what I'm talking about here. All right, so anybody that's owned a camper before, you know, one of the things that you got to deal with is clearances. So not only underneath this unit, they chose to, for some reason, now they have the technology, of course, because there's your black tank, that's your sewage. It is above your frame, so as you can see in a direct line, nothing's ever going to hit that. So they know how to do it. You know, here's the bracket that holds it. It's up near, it's flush near the bottom of the camper, which tucks this in. Yet, what did they do with the water, the black water, and the fresh water? So you have, not only do you have them hanging below the level of the frame, they have nipples and things hanging down, you know, one of the lower points that you're gonna snag and catch on and snap off. Especially this being a toy hauler, you plan on taking it off-road in places, you know, so you have to really be careful. And the reason I say this is, I don't know if this was, I kind of think it's, I'm sure it was designed this way, but whoever built it was just a dumbass. And the reason I'm saying that is because this particular tank, right, there's nothing on top of this tank. Okay, there's no pipes going in it. Okay, there's no reason to access the top of the tank. Yet there's a gap in here I could, you know, obviously fit my fist in, which this should be moved up. This bracket that they screwed in, because this is a screwed in bracket right here, I'm probably gonna have to do this myself. I'm gonna raise this tank and just move these brackets up. Okay, now I'm gonna go over there and get some 1.5" PVC to also take care of the plumbing that goes with this, right? But again, so one of the lowest things on the camper is your sewage. I mean, it's hanging within a foot of the ground. That's just asking for problems. Look at this. See, I mean, this is so close to the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these beams, I'm going to move this tank back up to where it's supposed to be, put a couple 45s in, probably over towards the edge to avoid, you know, this pipe being down here, and then come out in the same spot. That's fine. You know, you're going to have to deal with this. If you don't want it tucked in up here, you are going to have to deal with the utilities being below the line. But there's no reason for the whole tank and all this. That's a high catch thing right there. That's just going to snap. So, so I'm probably going to leave the sewage one, right? Even I'm not real tickled about this, but I'll have to live with it. I'm going to move this tank up, and I might end up, we'll see, doing the same thing with the water. I mean, the water's only up, you know, it could be moved up a few inches. I mean, if you look, there's still space up here. You know, the only caveat to moving the water tank up would be, I think there might be a line up on top. Yeah, that's where it feeds. So this one might have to stay. But even having said that, I don't know why this is the low point and so close to the ground. You know, and mine didn't even have a cap on it. Like, that's probably the dealer's fault. They probably took it off to test the system and never put it back on. As soon as I put water in it, it started spilling in my driveway. The other part of this is I bought chloroplast, which is, I don't know if you guys are happy about this, but look how thin the wires are, you know, for your sensitive sensors that are in your tanks, as well as, you know, some of the electronics that's up front here, right? All this stuff is exposed for mice and gerbils or whatever the hell crawls in here, right? And they're going to chew these wires. Plus, they're just going to have to be exposed to the elements. So what I bought is, if you've seen some of the campers, they have, what's it called? You know, like those politician signs, and they're made out of that plastic corrugated stuff. So I bought enough of that to cover this whole belly. Now, I'm going to have to cut out, obviously, where the stupid tanks are, since they're lower, because I'm going to mount it to the frame, and it's going to go all the way across to the other frame. And it's basically going to create a blanket for up in here. It'll probably help hold the heat, you know, on chilly nights. But it's also going to help from when you're towing, the wind that comes from underneath your camper and grabs all these beams and everything. It does tend to move my truck around a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to cover all this, probably move those tanks up. And then I have some, another huge thing, which I wish I could show you, was on my previous camper. I'll say it again, on my previous camper, the jacks that are in the back, I will say this, especially my back ones, it was a 2017, and within 2 years, we're talking 24 months, you could see daylight in through the metal. Now, I live in Pennsylvania. We do have snowy roads. Yeah, I never drove on them. But these things rusted like nobody's business. You know, when I talked to the salesman about it, he sounded surprised, but I don't see. All 4 of mine did it. I could have taken a screwdriver and poked right through this. They were just so rotted out. All 4 of them. So what I did was I bought, like I said, I bought the chloroplast. I'm going to cover the underneath, and I'm also going to, you see this right here? Your floor is right below that. that little piece of plastic. So I imagine things poking through this eventually. I'm also going to cover that with the chloroplast, and I have some undercoating that I'm actually going to spray on all the metal, on the jacks, on the frame, on the axle components and stuff, because within 2 years my other one was just toast. It's one of the reasons I traded in. I thought maybe I had a fluke, which, as far as the rust goes, maybe I did. I don't know. But as you see, even from the outside here, just look how low that is. That's really unnecessary. And it's even angled down to boot. That's so close to the ground. Yeah, bad idea, bad engineering. So anyway, I hope this video finds other people well, and that they have ideas to question certain things when they buy the unit. You know, you're going to hear from the salesman that everything is driven by trying to make it lightweight and things like that. Yeah, but yeah, I would call BS on that, because first off, you know, some of these things have nothing to do with weight. They have to do with just design, you know, of how, you know, how you screw things together simply. It wouldn't have taken any more time or any more money to do it the right way. So that's this. It's my first review of pretty much anything, so feel free to message me, and I will personally message you back if you have any questions. Having said that, everybody have a blessed day. Happy 2020.